Hey there! If you're visiting Grand Teton National Park for the first time, here are 12 things you definitely don't want to miss. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger. I worked as a park ranger in Grand Teton National Park, so I know this park very well, and I'm so excited to help you plan a trip to beautiful Grand Teton. Let's talk all about the 12 things that you definitely don't want to miss on your first vacation. This is a collection of trails, viewpoints, and really fun activities that will make your trip to Grand Teton a success. Let's get started. Number 1, Antelope Flats Road. So Antelope Flats Road is the road that leads out to Mormon, which if you've seen those pictures of Grand Teton with the beautiful barn in front, that's this area. What I love about Antelope Flats Road is that you'll often see some good wildlife out here. I've had really good luck seeing bison and pronghorn typically are what you'll see out here. And then, of course, you've got the beautiful molten barn, which is just gorgeously framed by those Tetons in the background. And it's a beautiful stop if you're hoping for some great pictures of the Tetons and to get that Old West vibe. Looking at a map of Grand Teton, you'll come in from the town of Jackson is down here, and you'll come in here past the Moose Junction, and then you'll turn here to get along Antelope Flats Road and Mormon, which is just right around this intersection here. Number 2, Phelps Lake via the Lake Creek Trail. So the Lake Creek Trail is one of the newer trails in Grand Teton. It starts from the Lawrence Rockefeller Preserve, which is located in a slightly more rural area of the park, but it's a beautiful area, a great trail to get to the shoreline of Phelps Lake. Phelps Lake is a beautiful natural alpine lake. You've got gorgeous views of Death Canyon from here, and it's really just a nice trail through the forest to a gorgeous lake. In this area where the trail starts, which is at the Rockefeller Preserve, there's actually 2 different trails that you can take to get to the shore of Phelps Lake. You can take the Lake Creek Trail, but there's also the Woodland Trail. I like the Lake Creek Trail better, but usually I'll do both. So they kind of form a loop. You can go up the Lake Creek Trail, get to the lake, and then come back on the Woodland Trail. And that's a really nice loop in this beautiful forest. If you're wanting to do that loop, it's about 3 miles round trip. It's great for families, but you will want to be aware that vehicles longer than 23 feet can't be on the road that leads to the Rockefeller Preserve, which is known as the Moose Wilson Road. So keep that in mind. You will need to be in a smaller vehicle if you're hoping to hike to the shore of Phelps Lake from the Lake Creek Trail. Parking in this area can be quite tricky. A lot of people are disappointed that they get here and they can't get parking because the parking lot is quite small and it's actually monitored by park rangers. They're in there telling you if there's parking or not, so it can take a while to get a parking spot. If you're wanting help with any of the timing on when to be where as you're visiting Grand Teton, then definitely click on over to Dirt in My Shoes. I have a fully planned out trip itinerary. It's based on all the things that I've learned as a park ranger and knowing just when is the best time to be where. So to get to Phelps Lake via the Lake Creek Trail, you'll come in and you'll drive along this road here, which is the Moose Wilson Road. And so this road connects Teton Village to Moose, which is the main park headquarters area of the park. And so you'll drive along this road here and you'll park here at the Lawrence Rockefeller Preserve, and then that's where you'll catch that trail up to Phelps Lake. Number 3, Taggart Lake. Taggart Lake is a fantastic and beautiful hike through the lower elevations of the Tetons, and you'll get to the shores of Taggart Lake where you then have just fantastic views of the Grand Teton and the surrounding mountains. I love Taggart Lake. It is just one of my favorite places to go if I'm looking for a quick hike and I want gorgeous views. A lot of times you can get the mountains reflecting in the lake if the water is nice and clear, and so it's just one of my favorite stops in Grand Teton. The trail to Taggart Lake is about 3 miles round trip. It's a great family-friendly hike. It's fantastic for cross-country skiing in the winter if you're looking for something unique to do. But this area does stay quite busy. It's a very popular lake hike in this park, but it's definitely worth braving the crowds to get out here and to soak in those views. So looking at the map here, if you're coming into the park and you'll come up past Moose, and then you'll find the Taggart Lake trailhead right around here. You'll then hike to Taggart Lake, which is right here. Number 4, Hidden Falls. Hidden Falls is one of those places that's really nostalgic for a lot of people because a lot of people come to Grand Teton. Hidden Falls is what they remember from their trips as a kid, and they want to return back and bring their own kids out to this area. Hidden Falls really is the easiest waterfall to get to in Grand Teton. There's not a lot of really accessible waterfalls in this park. And so it's a really fun one. It's a big, beautiful waterfall. But what makes it really fun is that a lot of people like to take the shuttle boat that goes across Jenny Lake and takes you closer to the falls. So if you take the shuttle boat, then you'll go across the lake. You'll have beautiful Teton views as you go. And then you'll get to the trail, which is only 1 mile round trip from that boat dock to get up to Hidden Falls and back. So looking at the map here, you'll come up to Jenny Lake. You'll go to the South Jenny Lake Junction and you'll park in here. And then the shuttle boat takes you across the lake here, drops you off right there, and then you can just hike up to Hidden Falls real quick, which is right here. If you don't want to take the shuttle boat, then you'll still park here, and then there's a trail that goes around the lake down the south side. So I definitely recommend taking the shuttle boat if you can, especially if you have younger kids with you, because taking the shuttle boat does shave off a lot of hiking, and it makes it so that you can get over to the other side of the lake quickly. You can get to Hidden Falls, and then if you want to do more hiking or if you're looking to add more mileage, it's really easy to head up into Cascade Canyon and other hiking trails in the area. So I really prefer taking the shuttle boat just to cut off that extra mileage at the beginning and then spend more of my time hiking in the mountains. Number 5, Inspiration Point. So if you hike beyond Hidden Falls, you can go up towards the mouth of Cascade Canyon. And right before you go into the canyon, you'll get to Inspiration Point. So what's great about Inspiration Point is you're up at a very high level, and so you're looking out over all of Jenny Lake. You've got the big, gorgeous, beautiful mountains behind you, and it's just a really nice place to soak in the views. The entire trail to Inspiration Point is a little over 2 miles round trip if you take the shuttle boat. So it's really only an additional half a mile beyond Hidden Falls. So you're going 1 mile in to get to Inspiration Point and Hidden Falls, and then 1 mile back out to get back to the shuttle boat pickup. So it's still a really nice short hike. You will have to climb some elevation to get up to Inspiration Point. So if you decide to hike beyond Hidden Falls to go up to Inspiration Point, expect the trail to gain more elevation. It's a little bit more challenging. You are on some cliffs in there, but I never hesitate to take my kids here. They do fine. I just keep an eye on them. We work our way up to the viewpoint and enjoy the beautiful views. So looking at the map here, again, you're gonna park at South Jenny and then you'll take the shuttle boat across the lake here. The trail isn't marked on here, but you'll hike up to Hidden Falls basically, and then you'll come back up and kind of be right along Jenny Lake right here before you head into Cascade Canyon. And if you're in the area and you really like to hike and your kids are good hikers or you've got people with you that really love to hike, then I definitely recommend even going beyond Inspiration Point and going into Cascade Canyon for a minute. You don't have to go very far, but it does flatten out really nicely once you get to Inspiration Point. So getting to Inspiration Point is the hardest part of this hike. You'll go up to Hidden Falls, enjoy Hidden Falls, and then you'll go up a good amount of elevation, about 400 feet, to get up to Inspiration Point. But then beyond that, it flattens out again as it heads into Cascade Canyon, and the views from there are just incredible. Number 6, String Lake. Grand Teton has some gorgeous alpine lakes, but String Lake is my favorite lake to go to if I'm looking for a nice swim. So you'll head here. It's right at the base of the Tetons. The lake is nice and shallow, and so it makes a great place to swim. It's fantastic for canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, and just playing in the water. String Lake is in a gorgeous location. You get so many beautiful views from here, and it's just the perfect swimming lake. So we like to come here, hang out for a few hours. We'll bring the paddleboard or the canoe and just hang out in the water. There is a picnic here at String Lake. There's a couple of trails you can do. I like hiking up to Leigh Lake from here, or you can hike around String Lake. This is also where you'll pick up the Paintbrush Canyon Trail if you're looking for a nice long day hike. But if you just want to come and hang out in the water, then that's really the ideal way to use this area. You will want to note that if you bring your own canoe or stand-up paddleboard or anything like that, then you will need to take it to the visitor center first to get a free permit. To get to String Lake, you're going up past Moose. You'll go past South Jenny Lake, which is where you go to get to the shuttle boat. So you'll go up beyond that and you'll turn at the North Jenny Lake Junction. So this will take you in, and then you've got String Lake right here. Number 7, Schwabacher's Landing. Schwabacher's Landing was a really well-kept secret there for a while, but it is getting more popular and people are realizing that it's one of the most beautiful places to take a photograph in Grand Teton. So Schwabacher's Landing takes you down where they used to launch rafts into the Snake River, but it takes you down right next to the shore of the Snake River, and then a lot of times you'll get those Tetons reflecting off the water in the river, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. This is a favorite place of mine to come to photograph the Tetons, either at sunrise if you want the mountains to be well lit, or at sunset if you're wanting something moody and beautiful. So I love coming here. It's one of my favorite places to hang out in Grand Teton. After you park, you can take a little trail that takes you down to the river. And then beyond where you reach the shore of the river, if you keep going on that trail, it will take you to a little beaver pond. And I have seen beavers here, but it's really cool to see their dam, even if you don't see the beavers themselves. Schwabacher's Landing is just a quick stop, a beautiful view, somewhere you can come multiple times in the day if you're wanting to get different photographs. But you'll stay on this outer park highway here, and then you'll see there's a little turnoff that takes you down to the banks of the Snake River. Number 8, Leigh Lake. At the base of beautiful big Mount Moran, you'll find a gorgeous sparkling alpine lake that is typically pretty quiet and doesn't have a lot of people. So Leigh Lake is a perfect place to go if you're looking for great views and a little bit of solitude. The trail to Leigh Lake is just shy of 2 miles round trip, and it's mostly flat, so it's a really good family-friendly trail, and it mostly follows the shoreline of String Lake. So you're right in the String Lake area, you're following String Lake up, and then you cut off to go to Leigh Lake. What's actually super cool about this area is that if you have your own canoe or stand-up paddleboard, you can actually paddle all the way up to the northern part of String Lake and then portage your paddleboard or canoe only 0.1 miles over to Leigh Lake. And so that's a really fun option, especially because String Lake can get really busy and Leigh Lake hardly ever has anybody on it. And so if you want to cut out the hiking almost entirely, you can just canoe up String Lake and then portage over to Leigh Lake and cut out that hiking. So looking at the map here, if you're going to turn at North Jenny and go in here like you're going to String Lake, and you'll park here at this parking area right by String Lake, and then the trail just follows String Lake here and takes you up to Leigh Lake here. Something else that is super cool about Leigh Lake, just real quick, is that there are some campsites that you can canoe to along this lake. So if you're looking for a little extra adventure, that is a super cool thing to add into your itinerary. Number 9, the Jenny Lake Scenic Drive. Jenny Lake is probably the most famous lake in Grand Teton National Park. Everybody knows about Jenny Lake and everybody wants to see Jenny Lake. And so this scenic drive is the perfect way to soak in the views of Jenny Lake. The Jenny Lake Scenic Drive is really short. It's a one-way road that you take just to get you some better views of Jenny Lake with the mountains behind it. So you get really good views up into Cascade Canyon from here and fabulous views of Teton Mountain, which is just right up above Jenny Lake. So this is a really nice short drive. It probably won't take you out of your way at all, but it's definitely something you'll want to add in just for the added views. So as you're coming around Jenny Lake here, you'll turn at North Jenny Junction and you'll go in here, and then just coming back out right here, this little stretch just beyond the Jenny Lake Lodge is the Jenny Lake Scenic Drive. Number 10, the Lakeshore Trail. So now I'm taking you to the northern part of Grand Teton, which doesn't have as much to do, but the scenery is gorgeous. You've got great big huge Jackson Lake up here. This is also a fantastic place to go if you're hoping to see bears or moose. I have really good luck with my wildlife viewing up in the northern part of the park near the Lakeshore Trail. Your view of the Tetons changes a lot when you get up to the northern part of the park, so you'll notice that Grand Teton is quite far away, and the mountain that's more in the frame of your picture is Mount Moran. Mount Moran is big and beautiful. It's that dome mountain with the skillet-shaped glacier on it. And so I really like coming up to the northern part of the park just to get a different vantage point of Grand Teton. The Lakeshore Trail itself is a really nice family-friendly hike. It's mostly flat. It's short, only about 2 miles round trip. You can turn around at any point. The views stay pretty similar as you're walking around this area. But I've also had really good luck seeing wildlife up here, and I just love being in the Coulter Bay area of the park. So to get up to the Lakeshore Trail, you can either drive this inner park road here and then come up to Coulter Bay this way, or you can take this outer park road and then come in here and get up to Coulter Bay this way. So the Lakeshore Trail, you'll just park right here by the Visitor Center, the Coulter Bay Visitor Center, and then you'll catch the trail from right behind the Visitor Center. Number 11, Oxbow Bend. Oxbow Bend has long been one of my favorite views in the Tetons. I love that you get that beautiful reflection of Mount Moran in the Snake River. Oxbow Bend is a great place to come if you're looking for some beautiful photographs. This is a popular area to photograph in the fall because a lot of the trees in front of the mountain turn colors. It's also a great place to come if you're looking for some wildlife. I've seen otters here. I've seen moose here. Sometimes you can even hear wolves from here. I've never seen them, but I've heard them. And so it's a really beautiful area of the park to hang out for a little while and soak in the views. Oxbow Bend is located up here in the northern part of the park again. So you can either take this outer park road and then cut in through the Moran entrance, and then you get your view right here. Or you can take the inner park road and then you'll take a right as you get to that junction there, and you'll be at Oxbow Bend in no time. And number 12, the last thing that you don't want to miss on your first visit to Grand Teton is the Snake River Overlook. This overlook was made famous by the photographer Ansel Adams. He snapped a photo here a long time ago, and it's been a favorite of photographers ever since. I love the Snake River Overlook. You get just gorgeous views of the craggy Teton Mountains. You've got the Snake River in the foreground, and it's perfectly framed by all the trees. It just, to me, encompasses all of the beauty of Grand Teton National Park. The Snake River Overlook is located along the Outer Park Road, and so you'll just drive up this way here, and then your Snake River Overlook parking is this little pull-out right here. If you can get to these 12 things on your first visit to Grand Teton, then you will have a complete and very well-rounded trip in the Tetons. You'll have hit all the main activities. You'll get the photographs that you're hoping for and go on the hikes that just showcase the beauty of the area. If you're looking for even more things to do, you can find that information on Dirt in My Shoes, especially if you're hoping to do some longer trails or you're hoping to get hiking back into the mountains. So let me know if you have any trip planning questions, but you should find a lot of information that you need on dirtinmyshoes.com. I am so excited for you to visit this national park. It is absolutely spectacular. I know that it will help you to feel relaxed and rejuvenated as you hike through these beautiful mountains, and I hope that you have a great trip.